Welcome to Chi-Town Cigar Podcast, the podcast where three Chicago guys light up a fine cigar and get into everything from sports and current events to hobbies, life's little moments, and everything in between. Whether you're here for the cigars, the conversation, or just some good laughs, we got you covered. So grab your favorite smoke, settle in, and join us for laid-back chats with a Chicago twist. Now it's time to put some smoke in the air.
Good evening, Marty.
Good evening, Mike. Chi-Town Cigar Podcast is on the air.
We are live coming to you from my studio of the Aganorsa Leaf studio in Central Illinois. Marty, of course, in that fine cedar room.
In the cedar room.
I'm always so jealous.
Yeah, this was money well spent.
Oh, absolutely. I remember you building it. I remember all the research you did.
I had help too.
Yeah.
In fact, the person who helped me is going to join us tonight.
Yes, that's right. We have a special guest tonight.
Yeah, we got a special guest. Let's welcome Alex to the stage.
Hey, where's our hand? Where's our applause? Hey.
Welcome, Alex.
Thank you for having me. How everybody doing?
Great.
Doing great. Yeah, just so everybody knows, this is sort of our salute to the troops, to the men and women who defend our country. Alex was gracious enough to join us. My son could not join us due to some regulations, so we'll leave it at that. But it was good. It's good to have Alex join us. And Alex, what branch of the military are you with?
Marine Corps.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
The best.
Hoorah.
Hoorah! Yeah.
Say that if you're not in the Marine Corps. Is it okay?
Yeah, you can say it. I'm here. It's all right.
I was supposed to. Twice my parents blocked me. In high school, I took the ASFAB, went to the recruiter, signed up, and because I was under the age of 18, they said, "Hey, we need your parents to come in." And my mom came in and said, "No way in hell." I said, "Nope, it's not going to happen." And then in college, one of the guys on my floor was in the Marines, and he was there on the GI Bill. And so him and I were talking. He's like, "Dude, you'd be perfect." And there's some stuff that he was saying, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to do it." I said, "I'll go sign up. I'll do a delayed entry and finish my degree." Called my mom up, and she said, "Hold on, I'm going to have you talk to your uncle." My uncle said, "Just get through. I'll get you a government job. You don't have to go to the military." So I'm like, "Are you sure?" "Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll get you a job right away as soon as you graduate." I graduated, and there were crickets playing. So I was bad.
No job. Oh,
no job. No.
Gotta love it.
So, and now that my son's in the military, my mom's like, "I should have never stopped you." I said, "I told you." So, but much props to you, Alex. We definitely appreciate and thank you for your service. I know it's not easy being a parent of a naval nuclear engineer and what he went through. It's not easy, and God bless you guys for doing it.
Oh, thank you. Is he working on subs?
He is actually doing some teaching now. So
Okay.
he spent some time on it and figured out a way to he re-enlisted, but figured out a way to not have to go back underwater if he taught. So that's what he's doing now is he's teaching. So yeah.
I'll give
just like you, he's getting married soon. So,
even better.
Yeah, so Alex is marrying my stepdaughter, and so I get to spend a lot of time with Alex, and we definitely enjoy this fine cedar room cigar lounge sometimes. But he helped me put the wallboard up.
Nice.
Yeah, and the hardest part was the wallboard we put on the ceiling.
That was.
Yeah, we did. We did it just 2-man job. Those wallboards are pretty heavy.
But we put together in one day.
Yeah, we framed it up in one day, and then got the wallboard on, and
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So were you overseas? Were you deployed or were you stateside?
Yeah, I was overseas for a little bit.
Okay. All right. So, and we'll come back and you can regale us with all of your horrific stories or fun stories. But one of the things that, and I don't know if Alex, if you ever had the chance to partake in this, but one of the probably the biggest contributors to our armed forces in the cigar world is Cigars for Warriors, and what a phenomenal group. They really, it's like one of the truest forms of charity. When I was looking them up and doing some research on them, they actually have a 76% rating for people to donate to. That's how well they are respected when it comes to charities. And they make, I don't want to say they make all their money, but they survive based on donations for cigars or money. And they do that through cigar lounges, cigar companies. So it's phenomenal. And then they also have a Cigars for Warriors scholarship program for military personnel. So it definitely is a great organization. I was trying to find out what their most recent stats were for donations, which is almost impossible to find out. All I could find out is as of late last year, they had shipped over 1.6 million cigars to U.S. troops since 2012. So they don't break down their donations annually, but looking at that, they're shipping about 100,000 cigars a year. So in 2024, they roughly shipped about 100,000 cigars. So it's phenomenal. And it's a great organization. I know the Chi-Town crew. Yeah, there's a great picture. The Chi-Town crew donated 100 cigars to my son and his shipmates. And he said, Dad, it couldn't have been better. He said it just gave them something to look forward to, whether it was a long night or a long day. And I shared this, I think last week or a couple weeks ago. They could actually smoke on a sub. So yeah, they actually have a smoking section on the sub where the air gets pulled out and repurified and stuff like that. So it's neat. And I don't think Cigars for Warriors, I don't think they donate to subs just because it's harder to donate to them, So, but I know Army and the Marines are regular recipients of cigars. So it's pretty phenomenal in that regard.
That's awesome. That's some good work.
Did you ever get a Cigar for Warriors donation in your outfit? No,
I did not.
It's pretty unique because in doing the research, and Marty, you probably have it on the screen, you have to actually apply, which is sort of weird. Somebody has to apply to send your unit or your what do you call it? I want to call it team, and it's not to get cigars sent to them. So I guess it's sort of making sure that you've got somebody at home that goes, hey, we need a reload of cigars here, and can you get them out there? But I know from Cigar Dojo and a lot of the cigar guys that I know, if they know somebody in the Marines or in the Navy or in the Army, just like we do with my son, they just put together a care package and send it over.
Right.
But I don't know what the stipulations are, because I know my daughter-in-law or future daughter-in-law said it was pretty difficult to get stuff through customs. She actually had to have several other ladies that were flying with her take them over so that she didn't get stopped in customs for having so many cigars. So
yeah, you can send them just to Cigars for Warriors, and they'll distribute them to. Right. I don't know how they decide who gets them. Yeah. So they have their address here. And there's like a lot of the drop-off centers are just the cigar lounge. A lot of
cigar lounges.
Cigar lounges will act as drop-off centers, and then
and I know if Teddy joins us, he should be joining us here shortly. I know Ultimate Cigar Lounge, one of our sponsors, was a drop-off center a couple years ago. And it's always nice. I think I'm surprised every lounge doesn't do it because, to say, okay, hey, buy 3 cigars or buy 5 cigars and your 6th cigar will donate to Cigars for Warriors. The lounge is making money. And if they turn around and say, okay, hey, we're going to give this house blend or we're going to give this whatever to Cigars for Warriors, why wouldn't you go in and buy 5 cigars knowing that your 6th cigar is going to somebody serving our country? It's a little bit confusing. I'm sure somebody from Cigars for Warriors could explain it better to me why lounges don't do it more frequently, but it's rare for me to have walked into a lounge in Illinois to see a Cigars for Warriors drop-off spot.
Yeah.
So
they may just not want to deal with the shipping and stuff that they have to go through. Who knows? But yeah, it's definitely a good charity, and seems like they do a lot of good work for. You can volunteer your time.
Yeah.
Send cigars, and
yeah. One of the guys I was hoping to get to join us from Cigars for Warriors is a friend of ours that we met in Colorado a couple years, Marty, and that's what he does. He volunteers. He goes to events, Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest or the Great Smoke or Barn Smokers, and just sets up a booth and is there to take cigars, or get monetary donations and be able to say, okay, hey, last year's winner for donation of the year was Anstead's Tobacco Company, and they raised $15,000 at the Big Red Barn event. So I mean, $15,000 that's a lot of cigars. So and I'm sure it's $10-20 a guy at an event is nothing, and going, okay, hey, we can raise $15,000. You get some guys again turn around and say, hey, if you buy for every box of cigars you buy, we're going to donate $20 to Cigars for Warriors. It's versus, hey, buy a box of cigars and we'll give you these 5 cigars for free.
Right.
Donate those to the Cigars for Warriors.
Yeah. So if you got extra cigars, you can donate them. I think I did something with the dojo where they acted as a drop-off point. You could donate cigars through them one time a couple of years ago.
No dog rockets. Remember, these are for the men and women over there that are don't send them something horrible.
Oh no, in my experience, we take anything we get.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. A dog rocket to us is, wait, that's life right now. Give me that right now. So did you have a chance while you were overseas to smoke a lot of cigars, Alex?
When I was overseas, no. Anytime we would ever light up, it was stateside.
Okay. For safety reasons?
Not necessarily safety reasons, just the lack of being able to actually get them. Where I was at.
Yeah. Okay.
Like if one of my buddies, he wanted a can of Copenhagen mint. It took him 2 weeks to get it shipped over there from another location that we didn't know of.
Wow.
I think it was further north. Yeah, it took him about 2 weeks to get it.
Wow. That's crazy.
Did they have them in like the what do you call the stores, KP or something?
Oh, the PX.
The PX, yeah.
Yeah, there's we had one for a while. They had a humidor, but then someone broke it, I think, so they got rid of it. But yeah, just like any gas station, you can kind of just walk up there. They got some just laying around. You can grab some and walk to your room.
2 weeks isn't bad compared to 2.5 months.
That's,
You're underwater. You ain't getting no deliveries. You ain't getting no.
No,
I told him I don't know. I said I don't know how you did it. I mean, it wouldn't be so bad being under there, but if all of a sudden you need something, you're like, and we went through the process of, you'd send him emails, and I was sending him email probably every other day. And he'd say, Dad, the buoy would go up whenever they could put it up. And he goes, I'd have 100 emails because it was like, all of a sudden, it would just download everything. And so here you go. And you got guys fighting over to get to the computers. Hey, let me get on there. So
I would never want to go on a submarine. I would never. It'd be cool to look at, but I would not want to go under ever. No, thank you.
Yeah. They said it was a special group. There's some stories,
confined quarters for long duration. You get to know people pretty well, I think, at the end of that.
Yeah.
I believe that.
And at 6'2", he had his challenges.
Yeah,
he had his challenges.
On the boats, those things are very tight, very tight.
Uh-huh.
Imagine a submarine.
Yeah. I asked as a recruiter, I said, hey, he's 6'2". Do you have a bed that's going to fit him? And he literally looked at me and said, sir, for our nuclear engineers, we got the best of the best. You ain't got to worry about it. I said, okay, as long as, I don't want this poor kid having his feet hanging over the edge of the bed every day going to sleep. He said, don't you worry about it. I said, okay. And he told me, he goes, everything was pretty nice for them. So that's nice. That's nice. But I still give him credit. I don't know. Yeah, I told him I watched a movie. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of the name of it. It was with Gerald Butler. It's a submarine movie. And I watched it as he was deployed. And I was talking to his fiance, and she goes, don't you know those are not the movies you watch when your son is deployed? She goes, you watch those after when he comes up. I said, man, I'm watching this movie going, this is freaky. She's like, yeah, you just don't watch those things. They tell all the spouses and all the girlfriends, don't watch any submarine movies while your husband or your significant other is deployed. They said it'll freak you out. And I'm like, yeah, I can understand it.
We didn't cover what we were smoking tonight yet.
Oh, we didn't. You're absolutely right.
No.
What are you smoking tonight?
I am smoking the Epicaria Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Fit with the theme.
Yeah. And I went with high class because I knew Alex was on the show, not because of Marty and I. We're anything but high class. But I went with the Bentley White. So I haven't had this yet. So I was excited to try it. And it's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah. I'm curious as I get further through it, how it's going to play out. So
you need to get the matching car.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
Yes. I smoked that Anniversario, the Aganorsa anniversary last week, and dropping names. I was talking to Terrence. He's like, "What'd you think?" I said, "Dude, I'll be honest with you. I enjoyed it, but I didn't think about it." I said it probably wasn't the right time to smoke that cigar, but I've been dying to try it. I said, but I was smoking it and talking on the podcast. And so I said, I will sit back and review it, in the coming days or weeks and give you my true feelings about it. Yeah. And what notes I got out of it. But he is interested in coming on the show. He did tell me to send him a link to our show so he could watch it.
All right.
And anybody that's watching, I know Marty, you'll be there tomorrow, but tomorrow night on the Aganorsa Acolytes Facebook page, we've got posted our Whereby group, and we will be having our monthly Whereby with Terrence Riley and Fabian Ziegler. We'll be talking about cigar pairings. So if you're tired of seeing me tonight, don't come to the Whereby. But if you want to see me again tonight or tomorrow, we'll be on the Whereby. And they'll be raffling off a camouflaged Aganorsa baseball hat.
Oh, nice.
And I'm trying to think, Alex is going to kill me, but it's the bluish camouflage. I can't think of the name of it, what they call that. Like the blue and the whites and the grays. And I think, yeah,
I wore sand. I didn't wear blue.
Yeah, I always think of the Navy. That's why I just think of the Navy with that, because I'm like, okay, it's sort of more water looking, but I think that's more.
Blue
Yeah,
digital.
yeah. So they'll be raffling that off tomorrow, but it'll be fun to. We're gonna be talking about drink pairings and what do you pair with an Aganorsa cigar. So that'll be fun.
Yeah,
But,
sounds good. I'll try and make it.
so Alex, what were you in a? I don't know if you can tell us. Now, were you in a combat area, or were you just? I hate to say just. Don't take that the wrong way, please. Or were you back away from that area and more support? Oh, look, he's in the green room. There he is.
Teddy.
How's it going?
We can't hear you.
No.
Oh, he's gone.
But I guess to answer your question, no, when I deployed, I was on a security deployment. We
Okay.
were on an island called Bahrain,
Oh yeah.
right there in the Middle East, and we were guarding the airfield. End of 2019 into spring of 2020, right before the COVID pandemic hit. I got back a week right before that all started.
Oh gosh.
I'm home on leave, and people that came back after me, they had to stay and be quarantined for 2 weeks, and they didn't get to go home.
Oh gosh. That's even worse yet.
That was pretty lucky.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
that mark just barely.
Wow. And that was the end of your service? Is that right at that point?
No, that was towards the beginning. I got to my unit beginning of 2019, did one bigger training exercise still in North Carolina, kind of getting us ready for our big one. So every couple of years, your unit would go to, for us, 29 Palms, California, and you'd get evaluated. And if you pass, then you're deemed deployable.
Okay.
And so down there, we had a small group that said, hey, we're going for deployment. Who wants to go? Everybody put their hands up, and they just took a select few of us, and we didn't find out until pretty much when we were leaving California early to go get all gear and stuff.
Nice. It's funny you say North Carolina. So my son went to the Navy. His best friend was in the Marines.
Okay.
In high school, they were trouble, but in a good way. But the two of them would always just find goofy things to do. And so when one picked the Navy, the other one picked the Marine, his dad and I said, oh, perfect. We've got nothing to worry about. We don't have to worry about them the two together to be, dishonorably discharged because of the trouble they get into. One day my son calls me and I said, what are you doing? And he was in South Carolina. He was in Goose Creek, South Carolina. He's like, oh, I'm going up to North Carolina. I said, oh, what's up there? He goes, Josh got stationed there. I go, how is it possible? How is it possible that everywhere in the world, and you guys are 3 hours apart? And he goes, I don't know, but that's where he's stationed. He's going to be there for a while. I'm like, and sure enough, he's on his way home and he gets a ticket for reckless driving because he was driving so fast. I said, that's proof the two of you cannot be together. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it was.
It's those little things that really helps out. It's those little things. My cousin, she's in the Navy right now currently, and yeah, she was stationed down in Virginia. And my roommate and my best friend now, Frankie, his twin sister was stationed in Virginia. They were 5 minutes down the road from each other. And I found out with something on Snapchat or Instagram, and then my cousin texted me, hey, I'm right over here. Come say hi. And we all went and said hi.
Yeah. Yeah. It was good. Yeah. I mean, because it was, when one of them got a leave or a weekend off, they would go down and vice versa. And I'm like, oh man, I said, I can't believe you two. I cannot believe you two. And then when I reached out to his dad, he goes, I've already heard. He goes, I've already heard. I'm like, unbelievable. But yeah, he was a communication specialist for the Marines.
Okay.
Or whatever. Yeah. So he never got deployed. He's out already. He did his 4 and out, I guess, or whatever you guys do. So, but yeah, that security detail, that had to be a little bit rough in Bahrain.
Meh. I mean, at first it was pretty nice. I'm not going to lie. It was like 6-hour shifts, 4 platoons, take turns. And then I forget his name, but there was a general that was over there when we bombed him December, beginning of 2022 or 2020. I'm sorry. After that, it all went to hell. It was 12 on, 12 off if we were lucky, 2 platoons on at a time, rotating. The only times we weren't in bed or on post was if we got lucky enough to go to the gym or go get.
Yeah. Yeah. It's when my son was stationed stateside, his ship was in dry dock. He actually went to his ship dry docked. They were retrofitting it. And I'm like, oh, that's got to be easy for you. Go work and you guys all come home. He goes, oh no, Dad. He goes, it's 24 hours a day. I go, are you serious? He goes, yeah. He goes, even though we're in dry dock, its operations are happening 24 hours a day on that. I'm like, holy cow. He goes, yeah. So he got put on the midnight shift.
Ooh.
And I said, what do you think? He goes, it's not bad. I said, now you know why I did it for 20 years. I said, I was a midnight shift guy. And I said, it's nice because you come home, you sleep during the day when the wife or the girlfriend is out at work. And then when you wake up, she's home. So you're sort of not really missing each other other than sleeping together. So it was nice for him for that period of time. But now he's very happy to be on a 9 to 5 shift teaching. Although the students are pretty stupid.
I don't blame him. He's got the 9 to 5. Why not take it?
Yeah.
That's a daily life when we were back here. If we weren't out in the field doing anything, I'd show up at 7:30, go to lunch at 11, come back at 12:30, 1 o'clock, and by 4:30, 5 o'clock, I'm back in my room, go to the gym, hang out with my buddies, and repeat the same thing until Friday.
Yeah, that's nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was nice.
So tell us about your experience, like from the start till like your first year. What's your first year like?
Well, it all starts off with climbing on a bus with a bunch of people I don't know and sitting in an airport. When I went, I only had $20 in my pocket, my paperwork, no phone, obviously, nothing like that. And my first only phone call really, was right when I showed up, telling everybody, my parents, that I made it. And yeah, then boot camp, get yelled at. I mean, you meet some people, so good times. I still talk with a couple of them. Then you graduate. That's when I got my next phone call, was during right before family week, when everybody comes out, watch you graduate and do all that stuff. And I got enough stuff to my name, put into 2 bags, easy enough. Come home for a couple of days, and when I came back, I said hi to Marty, went by their old place, and Blake was not happy that I went over there without her there.
But she was in school at that time?
Yeah, she was at school, but I did go out there and see her before I had to go back. And then I went to combat school. Because every Marine's a rifleman. Got to learn that first. And then straight after that, I went to my job school. I was a combat engineer. So I didn't do I did engineering, but not the engineering. It was more of build stuff and blow stuff up, to put it in perspective. Did some infantry tactic kind of things, machine guns, demolitions. And then on the other side of it, which is what I did a lot of North Carolina, was construction. So we would build obstacles, bunkers, and our big mission was airfield repair, just to get it up and running, concrete and all that fun stuff. And so, yeah, pretty much up until my first year, that would just be my schoolhouse, combat school, my first field op with my platoon. So that was a fun time for my seniors. And then the practice, and then getting ready to go for deployment after that. California.
So while you were in boot camp, there was no phone calls, huh?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
How long was your boot camp for?
13 weeks.
13 weeks. Wow. Yeah, I know my son we got to see him when he left, and then it was 3 weeks without a phone call. And then the phone call he made, it was 2 minutes, and that was it. And it's technically supposed to be 5 minutes, but me and his mom are divorced, so we had to split that down the middle and go, all right, I've called you, I've got to call mom, and then that's it. And then we didn't hear from him until graduation. Yeah. So
Wow. I remember this letter very specifically. I wasn't supposed to be writing after lights out, and I wrote it to Blake. And as I'm writing, my writing is going down like this on the page, so I'm trying to use the moonlight to write. And so then I turned it in the next day when we got our free time to mail it out to her. She started laughing when I saw her. She was like, "Yeah, she still has it. I still have all mine from what I sent to everybody." But that one I remember the most. That one's funny.
There's Tracy saying hi.
Well,
Hey, Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
Tracy's at a concert tonight, so
Well, obviously Blake is chiming
Blake is
in
watching too. Yeah.
So that's cool. Yeah. It was, I remember those days, and I remember the U.S. Postal Service has a service that they scan your mail, so you'll see what mail's coming for you. So we signed up for it just to know that, hey, and it was excitement to get home from work going, we got a letter. So yeah.
So what was the hardest thing in boot camp that you had to go through?
That's a good one. Ooh. Probably the beach hike.
And what was that?
Hiking in deep sand. It was worse than any of our, because on the East Coast, their land's more flat, and on the West Coast, more mountainous. So we had more mountain ranges. I would have rather done all those mountain hikes again than that hike. 100%. That was absolutely terrible.
Did you have to go through a survival? I'm trying to think what my son's friend went through. It was like a 3-day, they drop you off somewhere.
Yeah, they don't drop you off, but yeah, it was the Crucible. Yeah.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
Yeah, I did that.
And that was easier than the beach hikes?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
It's weird. Like, as I grew up within the Marine Corps, I found I love being in the field. I loved being out there. I hated being in the rear. I love just being out there getting dirty. Once you're dirty to a certain point, it doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
It was just so easy. Then you knew everything was changing. You kind of figured out what was going on, and then all you seniors, you guys would do a little powwow and talk about what's going on, meet with your seniors, and figure out what's going on. So for us, if we were doing a range, let's say, we would know exactly where we were shooting from, what the hours were supposed to look like. If we needed extra time, we can get it from here instead of doing this. And if we had downtime, then we would do classes, do extra training that's not relevant to what was going on. So we were able to, I just loved it out there. You're away from everything. You're not worried about looking at your phone, social media. Like, I remember, like, especially at boot camp, I knew before I was going that an artist I was to, Lil Wayne, old rap album. Nowadays, it's an older rap album. It was coming out like the day after that I graduated. And the first thing I did was listen to that album as soon as I got on the plane. It was just,
oh, wow.
Just the disconnecting was very cleansing.
That's awesome. Very cool.
Teddy's back now.
I'm back. You guys shoot now?
Your audio working now?
I can hear you.
Nice. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Nice to meet you, Alex.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for serving.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I don't know if I missed it, but you're still in the Marines, right?
No, I am out right now.
Okay. Nice.
Maybe eventually get into the reserves once I get everything else figured out, but as of now, I'm out.
I know you guys were mentioning the name. I was trying to log in. It was on and off, but I heard the name Blake. And actually, Blake is my boss at work, and he's also in the reserve. So,
okay.
Hold on a second. Does Alex knows Blake? And I was like, okay. So
Yeah, Blake's my stepdaughter.
okay, yeah,
That's funny.
that's funny. Yeah, because it was on and off. I was trying to log in, and all I heard is like Blake, and then Blake. I'm like, oh man, maybe they know each other, but no, it's Marty's dad. Okay, that's funny.
So Teddy, before we
Nice.
go to our sponsors, Ultimate, which is one of our sponsors, do they do donations for Cigars for Warriors?
The last time when I first started working there 2 years ago with Tony, the previous owner, I actually had to like put it all together, put it in a box. I believe we collected 250 cigars. It was about that. It was probably like 230 something, but about 250. Now we're doing this episode. I'm gonna bring it up to the new boss and get things together and start doing it again because it was a success. I mean, with Tony was doing it for years. Ultimate. So obviously we didn't do it last year, 2024, or this year, and I'll bring it to attention to the newer owner, and we can start doing it because it's for a great cause. So and pretty
Absolutely.
sure people at Ultimate that also they used to be with the Army and military and even the police officers that come in that would love to donate that. And I remember when I first started, it was a big jar in the front with the logo for Cigar Warriors, and it was successful. 240 cigars almost. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Let's take a quick break. As long as you mention our sponsors, we'll give our sponsors their time, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about some news and some trivia.
Looking for the ultimate eyewear experience in Chicagoland? Discover Eyewear Fix, your premier eyewear store for over 28 years. From sunglasses to sports glasses to safety gear, we've got it all at every price point. Bring your prescription, and we'll handle the rest. Our appointment-only office offers a private, concierge-style experience tailored to your busy schedule. Call or text Chris at 630-853-4167 to book your visit and see why Eyewear Fix surpasses expectations. Eyewear Fix, where style meets precision. Get your fix today. Step into luxury at Ultimate Cigar Lounge, where passion meets perfection. Discover a world of premium cigars, hand-selected from the finest tobacco regions. From bold beginners to seasoned aficionados, our curated collection delights every palate. Grab a cigar from our amazing selection, pair it with freshly brewed coffee or fine spirits, and sit back and relax in an atmosphere of elegance and warmth. Ultimate Cigar Lounge, your haven for unforgettable moments. Visit us today and ignite your senses. Ultimate Cigar Lounge, located in Villa Park, Illinois. Open daily.
All right.
Yeah. Gotta love our sponsors. So, Marty, you're on stage. What's up? What's going on in the cigar world?
Well, I just saw today some weird notice that Hoya de Nicaragua put out saying, don't believe what you read. We pay our taxes or something. I don't know what they were trying to say. The back,
there was a
Mike. I didn't know the back.
there was some news story that was a repeat of something 5-6 years ago, maybe longer, where supposedly the Nicaraguan government was seizing Hoya de Nicaragua due to back taxes.
What?
And
Really?
and like anything, the minute something comes out, it spreads like wildfire. And instead of somebody researching it, they post it and ask, is this true? Well, why don't you do your research before you go posting it and find out? I mean, the internet being the internet, you can find out pretty much anything. So I think there was enough bad information out there that Hoya de Nicaragua, Drew Estates figured, okay, you know what? We've got to quash this before people start making it even worse yet. So yeah, they put out the statement today that says, just like you said, don't believe what you read. Do your research. We're fine. That was an old story. We pay our taxes. Don't worry. We're not going anywhere. So, yeah.
The line.
Yes, the lies. The internet is always powerful when people get behind the keyboard and start popping things out there, I guess. So,
Always true.
Everybody wants to be the first to break the news, even though they don't do any research to see if
Yeah.
it's actually true.
Mhm. Yep.
And I see that there's quite a few other companies jumping on the tariff bandwagon of raising prices. So
Yeah, there's
I
a
mean,
number of price increases. I don't remember what the last one was. I think it was Perdomo, or might have said 25 cents.
did they do 25 cents? Wow.
Yeah, somebody, I think it was Perdomo, said 25 cents. A lot of people raising.
And as long as Teddy's here, we talked about this last week, Teddy, how big of a headache is it for you guys at Ultimate to go and change all the prices on all those cigars?
What?
So you've got, I mean, if Perdomo's got 30 SKUs, you've got 30 SKUs you have to go and change. And I know from my experience with Ultimate, some of those prices are just put right on the cigars. So you've got to go change all those stickers.
Another thing is, like, example, before the tariffs, it was Rocky Patel. You know, Rocky Patel back in 2024 raised the prices, lowered the prices down twice in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not much I can do, because actually I had a question the other day. A customer asked me on Sunday, is like, why is this Oliva this price and this is just a different size but more? I'm like, well, the prices went up. And actually, now that you mentioned that, we got an email, I think it was last Friday, from STG that they're gonna raise the prices. And while you guys talking about tariffs, did you guys see the article in Half Wheel that STG says cigar sales are down due to the tariffs? There's no way.
Mm-mm.
Like, the funny part is that I think the cigar world has shifted a little bit more into premium cigars and smaller brands, from Ohana to Black Label Trading Company, Black Star Line, Dunbarton, and not everybody wants the typical general cigar anymore. Like, even if you come back and you see the Ultimate, you'll see a lot of people that come in. Obviously, I still have the people that are gonna buy the Punch and the CEOs, but a lot of people have shifted from that to go into the smaller brands and the more budget cigars. Mikhailov is a huge example. I'm about to put in a second order right now for Mikhailov Purple. The second box was gone within 2.5 weeks. So is it the tariffs? And I don't see a huge difference on money wise. It's not like it's going to be $5 difference. It's very little on the scale. But going back to your question, I can't really do much because I have to keep the old price on the shelf. I can't just match it if it's still the old product. I can't just raise up the price because I want to be fair. So there's a lot of different prices at Ultimate that you're gonna have the older price before the tariffs and the newer one till the older product runs out.
Yeah.
So they don't just jump
yeah.
up and do everything that's already on display with the price increase. They
No,
wait.
you can.
till they're-
You can't do that.
Gas stations do that. Like
Yeah,
they'll
yeah,
raise the
all the time.
price based on whatever they could buy, whatever they could replace the gas for that day.
Like, I can do
let's
it.
not get into that.
No.
Now you're in my wheelhouse.
Do you know a little about that, Mike?
I could tell you a lot about it. Yeah, it's a violent industry. And yeah, if a gasoline station or a gas company can increase rates, they do it quickly. And when the gas prices go down, they're a lot slower on moving those gas prices down. They want to see almost a 15 to 20 cent drop before they'll drop their gas prices 5 cents. So yeah, STG, the article, they're talking about, Q1 was great. They're not sure about, the profits. The sales were up, but the profits were down. Well, I don't understand. Q1 tariffs weren't involved. Q1 tariffs. So how are your profits down? If your cigar sales are up and your profits are down, that's on you as a company. If you're not priced properly, don't blame the tariffs. And then they turn around and say, warned of a potential rocky 2025 ahead. Well, at the same point, it's 10% across the board. Okay. If he comes back and if Trump comes back and says, okay, Nicaragua, we're going to bump you up to 15, 18%, okay, fine. But still, it's not going to add that much to your cost. Now, I was reading yesterday, and I didn't think about this, the tariffs on wine, because your tariff is on what it costs you to make that product. And that's where the tariff comes from. Well, the cost to make wine is a whole heck of a lot more expensive, I think, than it is to make a cigar. So, you got $100 bottle of wine on 10%, and if it costs you, I don't know, let's be conservative and say what, $50, and you're selling it for $100. Well, you're paying your 10% of that $50. So, I think that's, and again, we're not getting wine out of Nicaragua or the Dominican Republic. We're getting that out of France and Italy and Napa Valley, which doesn't have to worry about tariffs whatsoever. But, I'm more annoyed for our 3 viewers. I'm more annoyed that the cigar companies are jumping on tariffs and there's still a moratorium. It's still the 10%. Nicaragua went down. Nicaragua was 18%, and it went down to 10%. And okay, the Dominican Republic got 10%.
Part of that for STG may be due to the fact that they're a public company with a traded stock. Like Perdomo's not that, or a lot of cigar companies are not that. STG is big enough to have their stock traded, so they got to announce things for their shareholders that might be different than other companies.
And it's the same thing, like, I don't know if you guys saw the story, same thing with Walmart. Walmart is talking about the tariffs. Like, it doesn't really affect the consumer that much. I just don't understand why they always have to just go that route. It's just, I don't want to get all political, but it's just like, why? Like, and STG, right. The same thing with STG is like, okay, like Mike said, if your sales are down, and I mean, most of the, General cigars from Punch, CO, most of them are $9, $10 cigars. So I don't know. It's complicated for me that they including the tariff.
When you're a publicly traded company, you have to do things a little differently just because.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What else you got?
So I saw one thing. Oak Glen Tobacconists announced they were moving from California to North Carolina. because
wow, what a shocker.
Yeah, California apparently has some law that they haven't enforced yet, but they're going to start enforcing that says every company that sells a cigar into California has to pay $1,000 per SKU, I think, to prove the cigar is not a flavored cigar.
California, all the fun.
What a crazy law that's going to be.
It's gonna force a lot of places out of California. It's absolutely going to force a lot of places out of California.
I'm not surprised.
So, I did see. Did you see Lure Cigar? See what they got coming up?
I saw that they announced something called Fish Sticks, which reminded me of about the South Park episode about fish sticks. I don't know if you know that one.
Yeah. But yeah, I think they're jumping right in. It's a 4 1/4 by 46. And it's an MSRP of $8. So they're jumping into the budget cigar realm, which I mean, their cigars are already, but
it's a little cigar,
Yeah. So always good. I hope this brand continues to do well, because I really enjoyed that cigar and hope to smoke more of them.
Yeah. And the other thing I saw, I've been following Southern Draw on Facebook, and Robert and Sharon Holt have been, I guess it's Robert who's posting on Facebook, but apparently their son has been having some medical issues and for a while now, and they've started treatment, and he had to go into surgery, and pretty invasive major surgery. So, thoughts and prayers out to them. It sounds like, that's the first of many. So I always like the Southern Draw cigars.
Terrible.
And Robert and Sharon are good people. Hope everything works
Absolutely.
out for them.
Yeah. That's a rough go. I mean, it makes sense now with some of the things that we saw in the last year about the company itself, and it's probably evident why we're not seeing any new releases or anything from them.
Yeah.
I don't believe they were at PCA. I didn't see anything about them at PCA, so
Right.
that makes sense. So yeah, all of our prayers and well wishes to their son, and hopefully speedy recovery, and they can get back to doing what they thoroughly enjoy. So.
Right.
Cubs are doing well still.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they were winning when I left. I think they were up 9-1.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Last night they blew a 1-run lead in the bottom of the ninth. That was bad to watch.
That was bad.
I didn't catch last night, so I guess I missed.
Yeah. But I watched them sweep the White Sox, so that was
Yes.
Mike.
Sorry, Mike. Sorry. I had some White Sox.
Hey, when you're in the gutter, you're in the gutter. There ain't no hope. There ain't no hope.
Somebody from my friends went to the game yesterday. There was, I think, maybe 50 people on the stands. It was insane. So
yeah,
Eladio Diaz coming out. The 72th anniversary is going to be called the North and South Edition. So I'm excited for that because the previous Eladio Diaz, and then again, for people that don't know, that was the ex-maker from Davidoff. The previous anniversary cigar he had beginning of the year or last year, I believe it was phenomenal. So I'm looking forward for the 72 anniversary North and South edition.
Yeah, I don't remember that one being announced at PCA, so that'll be good.
Yeah.
Another one is Macanudo's coming with another one, the missionary. They had a different missionary last year with Spain tobacco. This year they used French tobacco.
I have one. I got one of those. I bought it when I was in Portland.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
Nice.
And I don't like Macanudo's anymore, but that one is good.
The Emissary España I thought was really good. And I'm looking for the Emissary France, I think they call it.
Nice. Should we talk about what happened in Chicago history on this day?
Yes.
You guys want some facts, some guessing games?
That's my favorite.
I'll tell you that the Sox did dominate this day in history. So
every so often
we will go back. What's that?
Every so often good things will happen to
That's right. Back on May the 20th, 1920, the Sox set a team record by scoring 8 runs in the 16th inning against the Washington Senators, winning 13-5. And then here's one for you. Hall of Fame pitcher Red Faber pitched all 16 innings. That would never happen nowadays.
Oh, absolutely not.
All 16. That guy's arm had to be a freaking noodle when he got done.
That's crazy.
And then that game started a rare 3-game streak where the Sox scored at least 10 runs with 15 plus hits against the Senators. And that feat has only been matched 55 times in MLB history. So that was cool. Yankees legend in 1948, Yankees legend Joe DiMaggio hit for the cycle with 6 RBIs in a 13-2 victory over the White Sox. So, and then 1973. So our time frame, boys. Not for you, Teddy. You're still not having a thought in anybody's mind.
Yeah.
A record crowd of 55,555 attended a doubleheader against the Minnesota Twins at Comiskey Park, the largest in Chicago baseball history. That wasn't even a playoff game.
Yeah.
That was.
I wonder what was going on. They must have.
I don't know.
Bill Veeck did some crazy things. He was like the original showman for baseball. He would have some crazy ways.
Sure.
Harry was probably out in the stands.
Sure.
Harry Carey was announcing for the White Sox back then. He was probably out in the stands. Shirt on.
Mario, it was a doubleheader.
Yeah. What's that?
I said Mario remembers it like it's yesterday.
Oh, yeah. They had a good team back then. They had, who was on their team back then? They had not Greg Luzinski. He was in the 80s. But
no, that was Chet Lemon. That was
Chet Lemon.
Ralph Garr, the Roadrunner. All those guys. So, all right, Marty. We're talking crosstown classics. We're talking rivalries.
Oh boy.
2006. Do you remember what happened on May 20th, 2006? This is huge. This is huge.
2006. I saw something recently where, like, during the Crosstown Classic, Kerry Wood threw the final time for the Cubs. In relief. That probably wasn't this day, though.
I know when I tell you this is you're gonna remember this, because when I read it, I'm like, I remember this vividly. So, a notable brawl occurred when Cubs catcher Michael Barrett punched AJ Pierzynski after a collision at home plate during a crosstown rivalry, which the Sox won 7-0, highlighted by Tadahito Oguchi's 2-run home run and 6 RBIs. So,
yep. I saw highlights from that this weekend.
Yes.
And he like Pierzynski ran him over at the plate.
Yes.
And back then you could do that to a catcher.
Yes.
Run him over.
Yep.
And the catcher could block the plate without the ball, and that's what he was doing. He got plowed into by Pierzynski, and then he got up and just cold cocked him.
Yes. Yes. So, and that was important because that was right after the Sox had won the World Series back in 2005. So, yeah. So, and then something that hits home to me, it's not a political or not a sports related thing, but a cultural landmark. On this day in 1927, the Stevenson Hotel, now known as the Chicago Hilton and Towers, opened its door. At the time, it was one of the world's largest hotels. And that's important to me because that was one of my first jobs. I was the assistant director of security and safety at the Chicago Hilton, not at the Stevenson Hotel. I know I'm old. No, you smart ass. But yeah, I can remember walking in that hotel. It's a full city block. So it's as long as the city block and as wide as the city block.
Yeah.
And went up 27 stories.
That's a big.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. We hosted, we were back in the day, back in the, what is that? I was there 90, 91 to 2001. And we were the only hotel certified to host presidential visits and presidential stays. So got to meet quite a few presidents and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. I didn't realize it was 1927 that place opened up. So
you say you were doing
they actually I was doing security. Yeah. They actually have a museum in there showing a lot of that stuff. They actually had an ice rink inside in the what's the name of the ballroom? I can't think of the name of the ballroom, but it was an ice rink, and they would have ice shows in there. People would go in there and watch ice shows, and yeah. So, and then in the early 2000s, they had there was a jazz station in Chicago. I can't think of the name of it. WNUA used to have a jazz brunch every Sunday. That place was packed. So, Very cool. Very cool. So that's this day in Chicago history. I always like that part of our show. Teddy, we didn't ask you, what are you smoking tonight?
So I'm smoking the 20th anniversary by AJ Fernandez.
Oh,
I know,
nice.
Marty, you smoked it, I think, what,
Yeah.
4 years ago?
Yeah.
It's very good.
It is. Yeah.
Very good. Just it's $30.
Right.
Like it's pricey. So like
It's not $30 good.
No.
It's not $30 good. It's
Right.
very good. I could pay $20 for this, but the flavors are there is good. The construction is not that great, and I think it's tunneling, but still smoking. I just don't think it's $30.
No.
But
Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's limited. I think 7,500 boxes, if I read correctly, last time. So it's not regular production, it's just a limited edition. But it's AJ. AJ's doing good sticks. It's just the whole thing again. It's not my budget.
Yeah,
it's not a budget cigar.
No, definitely not a budget cigar. That's a rich man cigar in this day and age right now.
Yeah.
You ain't got to put eggs on the table for your family.
No.
And then Alex is saving up for a wedding, so you ain't got to pay for that either. So.
Oh yeah. I got a big old breath of fresh air for tonight.
Nice.
Alex, last week we were talking about cigars at weddings. So I know the venue you guys chose allows cigar smoking outside.
Yes, we did.
And I've got some ideas for what boxes to bring along for your friends, though. What kind of cigars do they like?
It was the same thing as me. Whatever we could get our hands on, for the most part. Whatever was cheap at the PX, we take with us to the golf course.
How many people you have standing up in your wedding? Like, it's a big number.
5. Well, 5 for both of us.
5.
Yeah. So what is that? 10 plus us 2.
Yeah. And you're inviting a lot of your buddies from the service?
There's a few coming, yeah.
Yeah.
Most of them are standing with me, so that'll eliminate half of them that we got to find.
Yeah.
Hold on, Marty. Are you gonna have them ready, or you have to buy them? Because I know you got cigars.
Marty's selling cigars. Marty's selling cigars at the wedding. Hey.
I have a box of the My Father Le Bijou 100 Años.
Yeah.
Set aside for
Nice.
the special people.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
That's a good cigar.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's the Le Bijou is good.
Yeah.
And that's the 100 years, not the regular Le Bijou 1922, right?
Right. Yeah, the 100 Años. Yeah.
The 100 años, yeah.
It's awesome.
That's
Awesome.
good.
Awesome.
That's going to be good.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. My father's makes really good cigars.
Well,
So
the best
one
part was when we set it all up, they asked us if we wanted to have someone come in, bring some cigars, and I stopped them. I know a guy.
I got a guy.
Got a guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They were even offering to have people come and roll cigars, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm like, I've never done that, but like how good could a cigar be if they just rolled it right there at the place? Have you ever done that?
I've seen it done. I've seen it done in Vegas. I haven't been in Vegas, but I had a friend who had a convention booth in Vegas, and they hired a roller to come in and roll cigars. They're smokable. They're smokable right then and there. I don't know. It's probably perfect for the non-aficionado,
right?
Because hey, I'm getting something cool, and I just watched this person roll it.
Uniqueness of somebody rolling it right there.
Is it pricey?
I don't remember how much they were going to
It
charge.
depends on probably where the roller's coming from. If it's a U.S. roller, it's probably not that pricey. But if you're bringing somebody in from Nicaragua or the Dominican Republic, it's probably going to be a hefty little penny.
Because I do have a person that brought it up at the lounge. It was a rep that came in for La Aurora. They got rollers for events, and he asked me if I'm like, we'll talk about it. I mean, I don't have a lot of La Aurora in Ultimate, but that's a good idea for a wedding.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Alex, tell us about the times in the service when you did get opportunities to smoke cigars. Is that usually just in your off time, or how did that happen?
Yeah, mostly it was off time. We'd go golfing. We'd always stop by the PX on the way, grab whatever they had there. We didn't have any smoke shops nearby that were clean, I guess we'll put it that way. Stop by the PX, grab some, go golf. We take them fishing with us. Same thing, just stop by the PX. There were a few times when the last time I was in 29 Palms, we had a guy, one of our corpsmen, our medics, he went out into town, found a smoke shop, bought some for all of us. I can't tell you what they were. He didn't know. He bought the cheapest ones they had. And there's a picture of all of us, me and my good buddies, sitting down in lawn chairs in the middle of the desert with a beer in our hand and just smoking up. It was good. If we brought him out to training, it was always for the end. Always at the end, we'd all save them.
Right.
That's awesome.
Alex, did you ever have, like, say when you're on the field or like, you're out there, do you have anybody that smokes cigars and they're not allowed to?
We did. He never brought him out there because if you had a chance for a smoke break, you got to do it as quick as you can. So he would pack a pipe instead.
Okay.
Pack a pipe, and then if everybody else were smoking cigarettes, they'd have to go pick up all the butts. He'd just sit there with his pipe and say, I didn't bring any.
Yeah.
Smart.
Nice. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. A good pipe is always, I smoke a pipe, and it's always nice to, it's a little bit easier maintenance. Obviously you're not ashing. You're not worrying about getting rid of your butt or whatever, but it does become a challenge to keep those things lit. So you're either
keep lighting it up, right?
Yeah. So,
well, you still have to empty it though, if you have to.
But you can empty it back at the base, or you can empty it back in the in the garb. You don't have to. And if you dump it, it's all ash, so it's disappearing. It's not like a cigarette butt or a cigar, the end of a cigar, the last quarter of a cigar, or something like that. So.
Okay.
So what did they carry at the PX before they broke the humidor, or at the gas stations? You're probably pretty limited as to what you can get.
Yeah, usually pretty cheap. You guys have to correct me if I'm wrong on this one. The brand Acid.
Acid.
Yeah, blondes. Those were the big ones that they had.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite cigars.
That's mostly
that's very open to everybody. Yeah. It's open to everybody. I mean, a novice cigar smoker can grab one of those and you're not going to get knocked on your butt.
Yeah, that's how it was. Also, it was cheap and right there in front of us. We didn't know.
They're infused. Obviously we're not smoking them, but it's a cheap cigar.
So since you've been back and helped me build this nice lounge room and stuff, I've been, you'll stop by every few weeks and we'll sit down here and have a cigar. And I've been trying to increase your palate knowledge a little bit. What are you gravitating to now?
I still have one more left from the illegal tobacco company. That one has been, I took it with me and my buddy I brought him one. We went to the Bears game last year. We saw the Vikings. And he's already out of whatever I threw in his container. I'm running dangerously low.
Yeah, that's a HR cigar. So Hiroshi Robinya, I think. HR. They had a brand called Illegal Tobacco. And then he liquidated. He when he was during COVID, he apparently was stuck in Cuba and couldn't do
Oh.
anything with this company. So there was a long period there where they didn't ship any cigars, but they're back to making cigars. But they're not making that illegal, I think. It's not that there was anything illegal about them. So kind of a funny name, because didn't you like go into a place and
that was me. we walked into Benny's right up by us at work in Downers Grove, and I walked in and I asked the guy, before I could even tell him, hey, it's company, illegal tobacco company. I was like, hey, illegal tobacco. Before I said anything, he tried kicking me out. I'm like, picture the band, calm down. It's a company. It's a company. And yeah, that was a close one.
Yeah.
You found yourself behind bars. Illegal tobacco. Hold on a minute there, buddy.
What are you trying to buy in here?
Yeah. What do you? Oh.
Door.
Yep.
Yeah, that was close. I had to tell him, like, look, dude, I have a picture of the band. I promise. I showed him, and he went, oh, okay, it's legit. I'm like, I know it's legit. Otherwise, I wouldn't be asking for it. Why would I come to Benny's to ask for illegal tobacco?
Yep.
Oh, that's funny. That's the one close to my house. It's on this grove. I know which one you're talking about. That's funny.
Yeah, I work out of the Amazon warehouse right there. I'm one of their drivers.
Okay.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, we definitely appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Again, we thank you for your service. It's, you don't get to see enough military personnel on these type of shows where you can sort of hear what they've gone through and what they've experienced. And we appreciate hearing some of your stories and understanding the other end of it. We can say thank you as much as we want, but if you don't understand what you're going through, and I know boot camp is a killer. You hear it time and time again. So we definitely appreciate it. And we definitely appreciate your time overseas. It's never an easy time. And we wish you and Blake all the best of luck. Marty, you've got a future son-in-law there who enjoys cigars. So that's always a plus. Always makes it a little bit easier to get into the family when you go, I'll enjoy that cigar with you.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Do you have big plans for Memorial Day, Alex?
As of right now, no. I'll probably just be here hanging out by myself, or be accompanied by a little 6-pack and call it good.
Marty needs his lawn cut. He'll be away fishing, so brownie points. Brownie points for the father-in-law.
I do need someone to cut my lawn while I'm out fishing.
Oh boy.
Well, unless you boys got anything else out, it's been an hour and 15 minutes. It's been a great show. And I think we can call it a wrap.
Yeah, just a reminder, one more reminder for the event, June 28th is booked with Black Label Training Company. I think I have the flyer. I got to ask Kelvin. But that way, next episode we have on Tuesday, we can have the flyer for June 28th. That's a Saturday, 6 to 10. Ultimate Cigar Lounge with Black Label Training Company, Oveja Negra, and looking very forward to it because I love that company.
Yeah, I want to attend that.
Awesome. Well, boys, good night. It was a great show. Alex, again, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Alex.
We'll hopefully see you again.
Yes, sir. I'd love to join.
All right, everyone, put some
Have a
smoke
good
in the
night.
air. Have a good night.
Have a good night.